From the
what is anal bum covers?
From the good book. On that note,
I am nothing if not the beacon of.
Oh look, it's hell.
Propriety, beacon of propriety. That's what. Finish my sentence. Oh look, it's hell. Stop it. Welcome
To the Naked Apple.
Yes. Here we are.
Sitting in for Keith is the Pork of Judgment.
Yes. Say hello, Porg.
Porg.
Exactly. Lovely.
Exactly. I expect nothing less.
Lovely.
It is.
Oh, there's a new Resident Evil movie. Anyway.
It is. It has been a lovely week.
Has?
Well, I mean, clouds kind of rolled in and cooled things off.
I don't know. I spent an entire 24 hours in the woods, so I'm completely lost as to everything.
An entire 24 hours.
It.
It's finding myself.
The longest 3 months of my life. Kidding. I love it. I love it.
Visiting a park doesn't constitute going into the forest. There are trees everywhere.
I don't mind being in the outside as long as it isn't too far away from the inside.
KOAs are wonderful.
Yes.
The only camping I enjoy is glamping, and I won't apologize for it.
I won't apologize for it. That's true.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want to do it, and you can't make me.
That's true.
That's true.
No, in all seriousness, though, it was actually really fun. It was a lot. It was a not well needed, a much needed disconnect for a day.
That needed, huh?
Yes, that needed. That needed.
I've lost my ability to even. I'm going outside.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife's family reunion every year. They go camping down in Beaver, and the entire week. And my wife went Wednesday night to Sunday, and I went Friday night to Sunday. It was good.
Nice.
It was good.
Traveled on down to Beaver.
Yes.
Did you pick up a I Heart Beaver sticker or no?
I didn't this time around. I didn't.
Shame.
But I love the Fillmore Beaver area. It's just so wonderful.
It's one of the best traits of Utah, really.
It really is. Right in the middle of the state, you have Fillmore and Beaver. They're just so great.
It's like that Jeff Foxworthy thing where he's talking about the craziest headline he's seen where Florida man had his nipple bit off by a wet beaver.
Is that not the most Florida thing you've ever heard?
He said, that is probably the first and only time you will see in the news, seriously, nipple, wet, and beaver all in the same sentence.
Why is it always Florida? Do all the interesting people just move to Florida? Is that what happens?
I think it's more cooking in the sun that long kind of messes with their head. I mean, it's so hot that even the fans recognize that it's too hot and they start, sagging down. when your fan is melting, you know it's too hot.
Apparently, the reason why Florida has so many crazy stories is because the freedom of information laws in Florida make it easier for journalists to obtain information about arrests than in other states.
That and the panhandle of Florida and the Everglades are just full of those type of people. It's completely different from your Orlando area Floridians. It's basically two states merged into one. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun place. Speaking of fun, shall we get our fun, happy dosage of the vitamin B?
Yeah, let's. Oh, welcome to your vitamin B.
I love my vitamins.
Spectacular! Trump nails indictment hat trick. We have been waiting so long.
Do I get to throw the fish on the ice now, or do I have to wait till the end of the game?
Absolutely crushed. We're going to be popping champagne. Third place is still best place. It's great.
People tell me all the time I have the best indictments. It's
The best
true,
indictments that you've ever seen.
The perfect indictment.
Speaking of indictments, the indictment on humanity, Biden releases steamy shirtless beach photos to distract from corruption scandal.
I almost threw up.
Almost?
Almost.
You did better than I did the first time I read that headline.
Well, the only thing that stopped me was a sip of the good doctor was in my mouth at the time. So
Next but not least, Hunter Biden optioned to make room for 7th grandchild on family roster. Speaking of the 7th grandchild, Biden makes things up to 7th grandchild by appointing her head of Ukrainian shell company.
Oh. Okay. That makes sense.
I wonder if it's the same one that he had Hunter appointed to. Are they just passing it down the lineage? Anyway, Biden put down after biting another baby. This news is consecutive. They all happened in order. Speaking of things happening in order, man with "Don't Tread on Me" flag pays 40% of his income to the government.
Oof.
In case anybody didn't know that was what was going on.
Oof.
In other news, a new aide pushes cart through halls of Congress yelling, "Bring out your dead!"
It's probably true.
Dianne Feinstein was heard shouting, "I'm getting better!" as he went by.
I was thinking of going for a walk later. I feel happy.
In local news, a local family is torn between placing Grandpa in hospice and having him run for Senate.
I mean, or president.
Or president, either one. We mentioned Cocaine Mitch earlier, and to top things off, Mitch McConnell suffers a stroke, causing him to surge to the lead in the Democratic primary. And this has been your Vitamin B. It was a little brutal there.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
all the way to the lead in the primary, huh?
The hits just keep coming.
Just keep coming. Just keep coming. All righty. Well then,
So this week,
what do you got?
not a bushel.
Not a bushel.
No.
Are we calling this the not a bushel?
This is the non-bushel.
This is the non-bushel. Well, the non-bushel needs theme music.
It does. It's so nice you hit it twice.
I did. That's what she said.
A theme so nice he hit it twice.
The mistakes I make.
What the hell is even that?
This time around, I'm going to try something a little different. I picked out 3 issues. That were
Only 3.
just 3.
Narrowed it down a bit then.
Well, I mean, I'd like to end the show at some time tonight.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I would also like that.
Also,
Sleep
enjoy.
is a necessity.
You sleep?
Sometimes. Not often.
The 3 issues. What is Trump doing?
Oh.
Who's really running the country?
Oh.
And foreign policies mean nothing without a strong domestic policy.
Fair.
So of the 3, which would you like to take a start at?
Oh, let's swing at Trump.
Swing at Trump. What the heck? Here we are.
Why not?
Why not? We've dogged on Biden, and Biden's dogged on his dogs. So let's go ahead and take a swing at Trump and see what happens. Because some of what's been happening, most of this happened within the last week and a half. Rudy Giuliani admitted in court that he lied about Georgia election fraud.
Yay.
Trump's inner circle testifies to Congress January 6th panel that they never believed the election was stolen, and they thought that Trump was crazy for saying that it was stolen. Some of these are still in his upper brass of his campaign. Meanwhile, Trump is still going around on stage talking about how they stole the election. But behind the scenes, his team is saying, nah, we lied. Trump's super PAC has spent over $40 million in legal fees for his criminal charges and indictments.
Wow.
It's its number 1 expenditure currently. Trump decided it'd be a good idea to share an edited video of DeSantis wiping his nose and shaking hands with donors in order to attack DeSantis. The problem is the video is heavily edited, and the original video clip comes from a Democrat where it shows DeSantis shaking hands with everyone, and then when he's done with all that, then he wipes his nose with an itch or something on his nose. And Tim Scott, a major Trump supporter and presidential candidate, decided it'd be a good idea to side with Kamala Harris in lying about Florida's black education in order to attack DeSantis.
Huh.
Tim Scott, also a representative of Florida, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's South Carolina. Anyway. Also, in the latest update to Trump indictments, Trump was so willing to dispose of the deep state that he allegedly kept and never disclosed plans from General Milley and others to constantly attack Iran against his wishes, except when he wanted to impress friends, then he whipped out the information just to show it to his friends. But he was so upset at the deep state that he didn't show it to the public. So, What is Donald Trump doing?
Who knows? Like 4D chess or something.
He's playing 8D chess.
I don't know, man.
So one thing just to put on the side table for now, the super PAC paying for legal fees, sure, fine, so long as they're disclosing it and it's in their information, whatever. If you're going to donate, you pretty much should know that a chunk of that donation is going to be paying for his legal fees. Cool, fine, that's a thing.
Oh, wait, was that supposed to be a slam?
Well,
Like, I'm waiting for the part in that one where it was like, this is terrible. Like,
so
that's what it does. That's what they all do.
yes, it's what they all do. However, it's his largest expense, and
It's because he has the most freaking legal fees
it's true.
ever.
He has a bunch of retarded things going against him. But you couple that with all of this basically because they're upset that he has top secret documents that apparently show that the deep state was trying to constantly go behind his back to start wars. And he decided, instead of, January 6th and all that stuff, instead of coming out on, January 21st, after he's no longer president, and publishing the information that he was gathering on all these people, he decided to sit on it and wait for his best friends to come over to brag about it. Meanwhile, people sit and rot in prison for trying to show support for him on January 6th. So is he running for president? So let's throw this out. If Donald Trump was given a plea deal where if he pleads guilty or if he stops running for president, they would drop all charges, do you think he would take the deal?
I would hope not.
But would he?
I don't know. I mean, any sane person would, right?
Right. Any sane person would, to have fraudulent charges.
But he's always
gone
been
away.
a little unhinged, so...
He's been a little unhinged, but he's all over the place with everything, and he's focusing on DeSantis instead of focusing on the problem.
Yeah. I've always said Trump has one strength, and that's putting somebody in a position to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
He is not good at being the one in the position to do the job. And when he's surrounded by people that he can't put in positions to do the job because they're unreliable, he completely falls apart.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would think if I were president and one of my top generals, if not the top general, comes to me and hands me battle plans for attacking Iran, I would ask him, what is this? Well, that's our plan to attack Iran. Why?
Right?
Did they do something? Well, no, it's just those are our plans to do that. No. Well, it's something that we have to do. Well, it's something that you're going to have to think about while you're no longer a general of the United States. That should be the response.
Right.
And so he's no longer an issue. On top of that, he knew that the what's his name? Christopher Wray, with the FBI. He knew that he was a corrupt, lying fraud, but he kept him in there as he actively worked against Donald Trump in his campaign. well, it's a bureaucracy. You can't just, fire somebody. The man that is most popular for a phrase, "you're fired," seemed to struggle with actually firing people.
Yeah, bureaucracy at its finest. For real, though.
And Vivek Ramaswamy has a great point about all that, because one of his platform things is he's going in, he's taking names, and he's kicking ass. And he's not afraid to go around and tell people they're fired. Well, you can't do that because government employees, la, la, la. Am I the chief executive or am I not? Am I the president of the United States or am I not? Does every single person under the executive branch report to the chief executive? Well, yes, they do. Then I have power to fire every single one of them. Mm-hmm. That's Vivek Ramaswamy's
And you
stance.
should fire every single one of them.
And he says that if he's not able to do that, then he is not the leader. He is a slave to everybody who works, quote unquote, under him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Donald Trump is
Not wrong.
doing I don't know what.
I don't either. I've completely lost track of. Like, I used to be able to follow what he was.
You could
what he
kind of
was
see
saying.
the
You
game
could kind
plan.
of see the.
Yeah.
You could kind of see what he was doing. You could kind of decipher what he was talking about. But I don't know if it's because he's no longer president and they've finally managed to silence enough of the shit that he says that you can't piece it together well anymore, or if he's just gone off the rails.
Did they find a way to make the dog tuck tail? Is that what's going on?
You know, but I mean, a big thing for me is the attacks on DeSantis, because it makes no sense.
No.
There is no strategic value in it whatsoever.
So they both actually spoke at was it in Iowa? Right after each other. They both had 10 minutes to basically do a elevator pitch for their campaigns in Iowa. Mm-hmm. Iowa is the first state to do caucuses.
Yeah.
And listening to Trump's speech, it basically all focuses on what he accomplished while he was president. And all of those accomplishments were before March 2020.
Right.
He didn't talk at all about any of his COVID stuff or even the vaccine stuff.
Yes.
But he focused on everything he accomplished. Ron DeSantis talked about everything he accomplished in Florida, but he also talked about how, because I have accomplished that, I have found a way to accomplish that, to apply that on a national stage. Look what we've done in Florida. I want to apply that nationally. We've gotten rid of this government waste in Florida. I'm going to bring that over to. So Trump is focused on the past, and DeSantis is focused on the future.
Yeah. Well, and it's never made sense to me what they're going after with the election stuff. Because they keep talking about the ballots and stuff like that, and it's like the ballots were never, like in my mind, the ballots were never the main issue. Like I never thought that they were going to recount ballots and find faulty ballots that, would have changed the election.
Right.
Never thought that. Not once. What I did think should be investigated, and even if it isn't enough to overturn the election, it should be investigated because it's a weakness in the election.
Yes.
Is the ballots sent from addresses that don't exist, from intersections, and I mean there's hundreds of them. It's not a handful. There's hundreds of them.
Uh-huh.
Ballots sent from intersections that don't exist,
From overpasses, underpasses.
from overpasses, underpasses, the video of ballot stuffing, videos of ballot stuffing in multiple cities.
That wasn't a suitcase. That was a Pelican case.
Oh, because there's a difference.
I'm
the biggest one being the media's cover-up of the Hunter Biden laptop. That alone
not
could
just
swing an election.
Not just the media's cover-up, but now we know the FBI's cover-up of it for over a year before the election.
Yeah. And I mean, we're probably going to get throttled for this. Because
no, YouTube allows it now.
Do they?
They do.
They do?
Yes.
Oh, it's about damn time.
Yeah.
You know?
We might still get a little scary notice on the bottom of the video.
On the bottom of the video. But these things, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't up in the night. These are things that actually happened. This is out in the open now.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that the media and the FBI covered up the Hunter Biden laptop.
And that they talked to each other to cover it up.
That they talked to each other to cover it up. That they were purposefully keeping it out of the public eye to sway the election. Mm-hmm. We know for a fact that happened. We know for a fact that there were ballots sent from intersection and underpasses and all kinds of different places that could not possibly have a ballot connected to them. Mm-hmm. We know that for a fact. We know these things for a fact, that this stuff happened. And I don't care if it didn't affect the election. It is a problem that it happened at all.
Yep.
And don't even get started on Pennsylvania's bullshit with their constitution and the shenanigans that went on there, because that's retarded.
Just because they illegally did it doesn't mean that the votes are illegal.
We're going to retroactively fix that, since that's what we did in the election.
The judge ruled that that's not how it is. Yeah, the judge ruled on now's law, not then's law.
Yes.
Well, they fixed it now, so it's fine.
That's not how that works. It's not how any of that works.
We were going to lock you away for the countless atrocities you committed. However, they're all legal to do now, so
we're just going to not. Like, seriously, though, it's absolutely asinine to think that we don't have issues and considerable issues that should be investigated and should be concerning to the average everyday citizen.
Yep. And I think the biggest one that actually might have had an effect would be the chain of custody one.
And I want, if you're listening to this and you disagree with me, I want you to think very carefully. If it had been the person that you wanted in office, and you knew, not believed, but knew that these things had happened, would you or would you not still be pissed? Mm-hmm. Because if you would be pissed in that instance, but you're not pissed in this instance, you're a hypocrite and you're a dumbass.
See Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Who actually had no evidence.
Right.
But we found out later, after going into the Trump stuff, that the Clintons were actually trying to cheat.
Yeah. So
and they didn't do it good enough.
And you know, we all need to do that all the time, especially in politics. If we're mad about something, or if we're not mad about something and the other side is mad about something, and we just blow it off, we need to stop and think, wait, if it was my person that I wanted there, and I honestly thought that that's what happened, would I not be outraged too? And if the answer is yes, I need to look into it more to make sure that what they're saying isn't actually true. Because if it is true, I need to be pissed about it then too.
Yeah. Because it's one thing, for me, it's one thing to have Joe Biden in office and in charge.
Question mark? It's one thing.
It's another thing knowing that there's a good chance he shouldn't be there at all.
Right. You know. And you know, everybody's like, well, the whole fraud thing is just, it's not real. There's no way they rigged the election and ballots and yeah, okay. I haven't said a thing about the actual ballots that they've been talking about in the news. I'm talking about all the other points that they haven't been talking about in the news that have been proven to have actually happened, and nobody's talking about it, nobody's investigating it.
And what was it, the 20,000 Mules or whatever it was?
Yeah.
That one focuses on the chain of custody end of it, which is where the biggest issue was across the states, because there were violations throughout the different states with chain of custody, whether it was people turning in handfuls of ballots at a time or not keeping track of the ballots after they take them out of the box.
Yeah. And just because a court says that it's fine doesn't actually mean that it's fine. They're just people. Always have been.
Slavery was constitutionally legal according to the courts multiple times.
Yep. Yeah.
A right, even, according to the courts.
I mean, it really, it's... Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go there because I'd get in trouble for that.
So you got Trump's legal team going the opposite direction that he's going in public.
His legal team is cratering, is what's happening.
And then his inner circle of people are testifying opposite of what he's saying in public. So it just brings into question, who is he actually surrounding himself with? Because if you're surrounding yourself with people that don't believe what you're going for, how are you going to accomplish anything that you're saying you're going to do? Well, he did it before. He did do it before. Kind of. Until March 2020. And then he stopped accomplishing things. In fact, he got mad at people like Ron DeSantis for having the gall to open their states back up.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to move his entire operation to Florida.
Yeah.
Under Ron DeSantis' leadership. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, and the first time he was indicted, people were kind of upset that Ron DeSantis wasn't stronger in his response to it. And Ron DeSantis said, well, yeah, Florida's not going to extradite him. And then Donald Trump turns around and says, I'm extraditing myself.
You know, part of me actually wonders. Part of me wonders. Part of me wonders if it isn't actually a ploy between the two of them to try to get people to vote for DeSantis.
How?
Well, simply by making Trump seem irrational in the hopes that some of his base will realize some of those things and move to the next best thing.
So basically,
he's tired. He doesn't want to do it again, but he can't bow out.
He still feels an obligation to do something, but doesn't necessarily want to go through it again.
Yeah. That's the only way in my mind that most of the things that he's been doing, especially on the DeSantis front, it's the only way that it makes sense in my mind. Because his attacks are irrational. And anybody with a rational mind looking at them would see that.
It's just weird, though, because So, for example, DeSantis' ceiling on the voters he can bring in and everything is much higher than Donald Trump's ceiling.
Yeah.
However, Donald Trump's floor is much higher than Ron DeSantis' floor.
Right.
Because Ron DeSantis doesn't necessarily have a base.
Right.
Whereas Donald Trump does.
Right.
And Donald Trump's base is borderline religious, if not cultish.
That's fair. That's fair. And that's the one hole in my theory. But it's the only way that some of the stuff that he's doing makes any sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like there's no point. There is no point.
That is the most impure silver lining I have ever heard.
I know, right?
And it's annoying because I love Trump because he's just so brazen with anybody.
Yeah.
And he did do good things. He also did not good things. But that's what you get. Is you're not going to 100% agree with any person that's in government.
Unless you're the one in charge.
Even then, you probably won't agree with
Even then, you probably won't agree with 100%
I am
of the
signing
things you
my
do.
soul away with this one. Here you go. That's gonna bite me in the butt later. But yeah, that'll be something that's interesting. The first debate is the 23rd this month, and so far Trump is showing signs that he's not going to show up. But I think I'll believe whether he's showing up or not when the 23rd comes around. You know what I mean? See, he can say he's not going and then just walk into the room. And they'd let him on the debate stage. But that's the first chance that they'll have to really go head-to-head against each other with their different platforms and ideas that are in many ways similar, but there's also very different approaches to how they want to do stuff. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's the Trump issue.
I don't know. I still think I'd prefer Vivek. I don't know. He sounds really good on paper right now.
He does. And one thing I kind of do like about him is he was basically raised Hindu, but he does talk a lot about promoting Judeo-Christian principles because he also went to Catholic school as a child. So,
Best of all the worlds.
yeah. So there's that, and I think he'd be fun because he's basically like, clean house, get them all out. And I think DeSantis is somewhere. He said he wants to get rid of at least 50%.
If your schedule for the first day in office doesn't include firing at least half of the people in the staff, you just
Pink
aren't
slips.
worth it.
Get your pink slips. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
You're fired, and you're fired, and you're fired.
Like that scene in
You can't fire me. I'm a visitor. You're fired.
like that scene in whatever it's called is F you, you're cool.
Or Christmas Vacation. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Kiss his ass. Kiss my ass. Kiss your own ass.
Something like that.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the issue numero the first. What is Trump doing?
Yay.
It's gonna be a fun one to watch. Issue the second. Foreign policies mean nothing without a strong domestic policy, or who's really running the country?
I don't know. I picked the first one. You should pick the second one. I'll pick the third one.
I'll pick the second one then. Who's really running the country?
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you.
I've been had.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Clever girl.
You're welcome.
So, let's see.
Survey says...
Who's really running the country? We have a few clips. We have Mitch McConnell, Dianne Feinstein, John Fetterman, Hank Johnson, Stacey Plaskett, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris.
I'm going to go with F, none of the above.
Yeah. So, Mitch McConnell, if you missed it, I don't know how, because the memes about it have been hilarious.
I was in the woods for 24 hours.
But the context behind it is definitely not hilarious. This was Mitch McConnell last week.
We're on a path to finishing the NDA.
Non-disclosure
This week
agreement?
has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Dude just had a stroke.
Mitch. Turtle. Mitch.
Are you good? Mitch?
Mitch?
Anything else you want to say, or should I just go back to your...
I remember the guy on the
Do you
left,
wanna
I
say
think, is
anything else to
a
us?
doctor as well as a senator or something like that.
Go ahead, John.
Dude, mid-sentence.
Let's go back to you.
Go ahead, John.
He has no idea what's going on. Well, he probably has an idea what's going on.
Start of the press conference,
And then he
it was
comes
related
back.
to your injury from earlier this year where you suffered a concussion. Is that
I'm fine.
fine? You're fully able to do your job.
You don't seem fine there, Mitch.
Yeah, so that's
There's nothing fine about that.
that's Mitch. Here's Diane Frankenstein.
Senator Feinstein.
This is a roll call vote.
Say aye.
Pardon me?
Aye.
Yeah.
Just say
I would like to support
She
a
starts
yes vote on this.
Reading a speech.
It provides $823
All
billion.
she has to do is say
That's an
aye or
increase of
nay.
$26 billion for the Department of Defense.
This is a call for support,
And
not a...
it funds priorities
Call for debate.
submitted.
yeah. Just say aye.
Just say
Okay, just
Great, Senator.
aye.
aye. Okay. So there's that. Here's John Fetterman from, this is probably about a month ago or so.
Earlier today, some comments about the tragic accident in 995, and if you want to make any comments with respect to that, feel free. You're recognized.
No, I would just really like to, the 95, obviously that, you're pretty much preoccupied with 95, and I know I certainly am too, and we know it's a major artery, not just for Pennsylvania, but for the East Coast. And
Artery?
a lot of Pennsylvanians are worried that the delays in repairs.
That's Fetterman. Stop
95,
playing.
95.
Stop,
I know, right?
Stop playing. Stop playing.
I am dazed and confused.
This was Hank Johnson. Now, try to guess the topic of the meeting based off of how he starts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't trust the government of Florida to tell teachers how to teach history, particularly black history, wanting to put a revisionist idea that somehow slaves benefited from being slaves. I don't think that that is the truth, but I'll tell.
I'm going to guess that the topic was budget.
Ooh, you're so close, but you're wrong, just like he is.
Damn.
Yeah, no, he's this is Secretary Mayorkas. This is Homeland Security.
Wait, what?
It's a whole thing about Homeland Security.
Wait, what?
Tell you, my friend Donald Trump will have his folks thinking that that's the truth. But at any rate, MAGA Republican extremists want to sell us on an apocalyptic fantasy. They want the American people to believe that the border is out of control, that drugs are flowing in freely, that September 11th style terrorists are infiltrating with impunity, and that Latino immigrants are coming to rape, rob, and murder our families. But in reality, the greatest threat facing our homeland is white nationalist ideology that lies beneath such rhetoric. Experts agree that dangerous speech from elected officials creates a climate that foments violence and threatens public safety. And Republicans in the 118th Congress have amplified the white nationalist invasion conspiracy theory over 80 times in their official capacity. 11 members of this very committee peddled this dangerous anti-Semitic racist conspiracy theory. As Dr. Heidi Beirich, co-founder of the Global Project.
Hank Johnson.
Does he? How? Okay, what?
The same man that believes that too many Marines stationed on Guam would cause the island to tip over and capsize.
Okay, there's several things. There was words that were in his sentences that I just...
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Mm-hmm. And some of his claims we'll get to in the third issue, but...
I'm so confused by his entire everything. I just gestured to all of him.
Representative Plaskett. You'll want to pay attention to the lady.
I love that screen grab you had there. That was great.
Her. The crazy-eyed gal that's sitting over her shoulder.
We're going to name her Clara.
You buffer of Bufferton.
Buffering tonight. Why you got to be that way?
I don't know. Refresh.
Oh, no. Oh no.
Introduced into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, who you
the lady over her shoulder is one of her aides.
2023.
Is mouthing entirely her remarks.
The question was asked, okay, if someone
with crazy possessed
today,
eyes.
were to leave this interview and were to suggest or imply that when you said the
okay,
laptop
pause.
was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively...
I've seen this before.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Dunham does something very, very similar. This.
Well, her arms are folded, so.
Yes, but it's the ventriloquism, the little lip movement, the barely moving.
We're actually hearing her.
We're actually hearing her. She's throwing it.
I see.
I think is the only other explanation.
Your theory would be correct up until a certain point in this video. When she makes a mistake. See, she realized she was mouthing everything, so now she's got her hand over her mouth.
The contents had not been manipulated in some way. Would they be representing what you said, correct? Answer by Ms. Demlow. They would be representing what I said.
Wait.
They would be misrepresenting.
She said something wrong, so the 8 came forward and corrected her.
Because this committee likes to misrepresent.
Who's really in charge of that office? Joe Biden this week had this to say.
One of the things I'm always asked is, why Americans have sort of lost faith for a while on being able to do big things. If you could do anything at all, Joe, what would you do? I said I'd cure cancer. They looked at me like, why cancer? Because no one thinks we can. That's why, and we can. We'd end the cancer as we know it. Deliver on our sacred obligations to veterans was the second thing I think is critically important. One of the things I'm always asked is, why Americans have sort of lost faith for a while on being able to do big things. If you could do anything at all, Joe, what would you do? I said I'd cure cancer. They looked at me like, why cancer? Because no one thinks we can. That's why, and we can. We ended cancer as we know it. Deliver on our sacred obligations to veterans was the second
as we
thing.
know it. And Kamala Harris is still a first grader trapped in a adult female's body.
The nature of democracy there are two sides to it in terms of the nature of it. There's a duality. On the one hand, when democracy is intact, it is incredibly strong in terms of the strength it bestows on the individuals in terms of their rights and their freedoms. Incredibly strong in terms of what it does for its people.
In terms of.
On the other hand, it's very fragile. Our democracy will only be as intact as our willingness to fight for it. And so fight we must and fight we will.
I don't know what that word salad was, but that's the second in command for the United States. So, well, who is really running the country? When you have Mitch McConnell, stroke, Dianne Feinstein, gone, John Fetterman, stroke, Hank Johnson, never there, Stacey Plaskett apparently just doing whatever her staff tells her to do, Joe Biden, gone, Kamala Harris, never there. These are all the best the country has to represent the people. I was listening to a thing where 30 months into his presidency, Joe Biden has surpassed the cost of regulations of Obama did during his presidency at this time, with umpteen hundreds of new rules and regulations costing tens of billions of dollars to the U.S. citizens, and adding hundreds of millions of paperwork hours in order to comply with said regulations. But Joe Biden didn't sign all of those things, nor did he necessarily direct all of those regulations to be done. They just happened. The IRS deciding, yeah, you know how you could put stuff into a trust and then we couldn't tax it if you died? Yeah, we're changing that rule. Oh, did Congress say you could do that? No, we're just changing it. Oh, okay. The ATF deciding that the pistol braces that were once legal are now illegal and anyone having one is a felon, but we're not going to prosecute anyone, but if we catch you with it, we're going to prosecute you. And we know that there's a lot of them. How do you know there's a lot of them? Because we have records that we don't have. But we just changed the rule just because we could. EPA going out and telling us, deciding to change the rules on generators. So large generators have to be 90% more efficient, have to reduce emissions by 90%. And currently there are 0 generators on the market that comply with that. So every generator would be illegal under that rule change. And small generators would only have to be 30% more efficient, or less polluting. And 0 generators meet that requirement currently. So all small generators would be illegal with the rule change. EPA is also looking at making it so you're want to change some rules and regulations on your furnace, or not your furnace, your water heater, because natural gas is too pollutant for the environment, even though the exhaust of natural gas is water vapor with a little bit of carbon. And they're just changing that rule because they can.
Yay. Yay.
Yeah, I didn't... Let's see.
What's the looky?
Did you vote for... Do you remember voting for an Antony Blinken?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, he's the one that decides, what rules can and cannot be changed within the country, just on a basically general basis, because he's the Secretary of State.
Oh. Yeah, isn't that an appointed office?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Makes sense that he's the one that gets to make the...
Yeah, he just gets to change rules, just because. Janet Yellen, did you vote for her?
No.
No,
definitely didn't vote for her.
She's the one that gets to decide rule changes that affect how your money is used and not used within the United States.
Oh.
She's the Secretary of the Treasury. Lloyd Austin, did you vote for him?
No.
He's the one that decided it'd be a great idea for the military to host drag events. And all that stuff. He's did that. Merrick Garland didn't vote for him. He's the one that's decided as the as the Attorney General, the head of the Department of Justice, to not pursue justice for blatant crimes. Deb Haaland? No.
Nope.
She's Secretary of the Interior. She's the one that decides how our natural resources can, or in most cases cannot, be extracted from the ground and used. Tom Vilsack, Secretary of Agriculture, he decides how our food is grown. And he gets to just change the rules just because. Goes on and on. Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Transportation, Pete Butt stuff. Yeah, that's going real well. All our trains, right? Jennifer Granholm, she's the one that's deciding it's best for the country to shut down its nuclear plants and coal plants because she's the Secretary of Energy. Dr. Miguel Cardona, he's the one that's decided that it's a good rule to have as the Secretary of Education to make sure that schools comply with state-mandated homosexuality, otherwise they don't get their funding. Dennis McDonough gets to decide what happens to the veterans when they come home. Alejandro Mayorkas, he's the one that decides rule changes on the border. Environmental Protection Agency, Michael Reagan. National Intelligence, States Trade Representative, Catherine Tai, T-A-I. I'm sure there's no conflict of interest there. For trade representative. Our ambassador to UN, economic advisor, Small Business Administration, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Science and Technology Policy. Yeah, all those people decide to make just little tweaks to the rules that cost billions of dollars.
Yay.
Just because they can. And then underneath them, there's all kinds of underlings that are in charge of stuff that do the same thing. That, of course, you don't vote for. Well, it goes through Congress. They have to approve it. Yep. And basically every time it's rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp. Yeah. That's all. That's all I really got for that. Just that's more so something to think about as you watch video clips, headlines, things changing, gas prices go up. It's you can vote for the president all you want. There's a whole machine in the background running, which goes back to what we were talking about before with Vivek and DeSantis. Get them out.
Yes.
Well, they're going to have to appoint secretaries of those things. Yes, and I would hope the goal of said secretaries would be to destroy the office that they are in. Kind of like Ron Swanson joining Parks and Rec, not because he thinks Parks and Rec is amazing, but because he wants to work from the inside to uproot the Parks and Rec department. That is who I hope they put in there.
I work here to destroy this place.
Uh-huh.
Slash it, slash it, slash it, slash it.
Issue the third. Foreign
Now,
policies.
I want to be perfectly clear. I ordered all of your bacon. And what I think you heard was a lot of bacon. But what I said was all of your bacon.
Fist pump. I'll have the number 27. That's a party platter for 20 people. Oh, no, you'll want to stay and watch. It's actually really impressive.
Yes.
Excuse me, you need a permit for that. I have that right here.
This is just a piece of paper that says I do what I want.
Be the American that progressive liberals think that you are.
Oh, look. Giant clock. Don't have those in America. Best part is I literally said that in London.
Don't you think all this history is amazing? History began on July 4th, 1776. Anything that happened before that was a mistake.
Oh, we jumped on the tour bus.
Yes.
And our tour guide started talking about World War II and winning the war. And as he mentioned that, I yelled, "You're welcome." I found our American.
He's never been more proud.
He's a good guy. I like that tour guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told him to look me up if he ever made it to the Freelands.
Yeah. The Ron Swanson character is funny because they wrote him in trying to make fun of conservatives, basically.
Libertarians mostly, yeah.
Yes. And it backfired because
he became the most beloved character on that entire show.
Yes, because libertarians and conservatives, generally speaking, are very capable of laughing at themselves.
Yes.
Yes, I know I'm a brazen American, and I'm proud of it.
Yes. You just made me want to go that much more extreme. Now I have to one-up Ron Swanson. Do you know how good of a bar that is?
Ron Swanson is the embodiment of the Revolution era American, because the British sang Yankee Doodle to mock us. We heard it and said, "That's amazing. We're using that." Much to their dismay and confusion, we were proudly singing it as we marched toward their lives.
Wait, are they...
You're supposed to be upset by that.
Have you ever seen the Whitest Kids You Know?
No.
They did a thing on the Revolutionary War. It's a line of redcoats with their pistols or with their muskets, and they're standing there, and the one the commander goes forward and is yelling at the American troops, and he's like, "All right, rules of engagement," and starts like running through this list of stuff, and the Americans start shooting. his people start dying, and he's like, no, that's not how this works. See, I get a volley, then you get a volley, then we take a volley. And then somebody shoots at him, and he's like, who shot at a commanding officer? Reprimand that man.
It's reminds me of the Patriot.
It's hilarious. It's really, really funny.
Reminds me of the Patriot when he's negotiating terms for prisoner exchange. You need to tell your men to stop shooting at officers in the battle. It's ungentlemanly to do so. Tell your officers to stop slaughtering women and children. Until then, they're just as much a target as anybody else.
See, my favorite negotiation scene was from The Fifth Element. He walks in the door, shoots the guy in the head. Anybody else want to negotiate?
Ain't nobody got time for that. Yes.
Well, next. Oh, it's my choice.
Yes,
now,
you get to
right?
pick the third.
I get to pick the third. Foreign policy for 500, Trebek.
Foreign policies mean nothing without a strong domestic policy. From the
what is anal bum covers?
From the good book. On that note,
I am nothing if not the beacon of.
Oh, look, it's hell.
Propriety. Beacon of propriety. That's what. Finish my sentence. Oh, look, it's hell.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
From the good book, Matthew 23:26, you got to clean the inner vessel before you clean the outer vessel. Paraphrased.
A blessing from the Lord. God be praised.
Yeah. So, what's happening inside the U.S.? An illegal Chinese biolab was found in California laden with diseases, including rats infected with COVID-19 that were intended to be distributed throughout the country to spread COVID-19 and probably other diseases.
Were they waiting for the majority of people to be vaccinated so they'd be more...
Secret Chinese police stations in the U.S., at least 4.
We've talked about that one before.
Yep.
We've brought that one up.
Yep. Holla back to that.
I ain't no holla back girl.
To go back to Hank Johnson's point of, Republicans spreading this crazy theory that there's all kinds of naughty people going across the border. The Border Patrol is noted that a record number of terrorists have been apprehended at the southern border. And again, these are the record number of the ones apprehended.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. In relation to that, DeSantis is calling for a stone cold dead border policy. In case you missed it, he is not afraid to send the military to the border and shoot on sight any illegal crossings that involve child trafficking and drug trafficking.
It's about damn time.
Yeah. In case you're wondering, Donald Trump promises basically exactly what he did before. Basically. Ron DeSantis is promising basically that with a gun. In the immortal words of Al Capone, a kind word and a gun will get you more than just a kind word.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
Overall, U.S. goods imports is going up, increasing the reliance on foreign goods for the U.S. And overall, U.S. exports is stagnant or going down, which also increases reliance on foreign goods. Offices of the President and Vice President of the United States were sold out to pay Biden family bills under the guise of talking about the weather.
Excuse me?
The Devin Archer testimony. Yeah. You go into CNN and all these other reportings on it, and they'll tell you that, yes, Hunter Biden called Joe Biden while he was at Burisma in a board meeting, but all he did was call him on speakerphone to talk about the weather while he was in an emergency meeting with Burisma that was about to go bankrupt. So he decided to call his dad, who then showed up to Ukraine a week later and told Ukraine that if you don't fire the prosecutor going after Burisma, you're not getting $1 billion from the U.S. And go ahead and ask Barack. He okayed it.
Nazi fags.
Oh.
Whoops.
Biden just comes out of nowhere.
He does. All the time.
Senate Republicans worry that impeachment will ruin the party's chance of controlling the government.
No! You dense, irritating miniature beast of burden!
And in Illinois, illegal immigrants can now become law enforcement.
Son of a bitch! You done messed up, Aaron!
Wow.
So.
Wow. You saved the best section for last.
Yeah. Let's kind of work backwards on this one. So the illegal immigrants, here's how this is handled moving forward. If for whatever reason you find yourself in or going through Illinois and you are pulled over by police, the first question you ask the police officer, are you a U.S. citizen? If the answer is no, you tell them, have a good day, and you may go on your merry way. Yeah, that's not gonna end poorly. Nah, it'd be fine. Senate Republicans. The headline from the Hill: Senate Republicans see Biden impeachment as fraught with risk. It's risky if we impeach him. Risky. GOP senators say the party is better off focused on how to improve Americans' lives in the future instead of fighting messy battles to settle past political scores. See, the problem is, this isn't about settling a past political score. This is about getting a guy that's using his position, at least as vice president, if not currently as president, to enrich his family and sell out Americans for, if you do all the calculating, at something like 30 cents a head to the Chinese.
That's a lot of heads.
You are worth 30 cents to the Biden family based off of money that we know came from China to them. Senator John Thune, staying focused on the future and not the past is, in my view, the best way to change the direction of the country, and that's to win an election.
That would require you to be capable of winning an election with your massive incompetence.
Senate Republican Policy Committee Chairwoman Joni Ernst said Tuesday she would prefer to focus on national security policy. Joe Biden is selling the country to foreign entities.
So how much
the
money
Senate is debating this week as it wraps up work with the National Defense Authorization Act?
How much money are these people also getting from these deals?
Well,
that's the only real reason not to go after this bullshit.
Mitch McConnell is only married to a lady that's direct relative to, I think it's the owner of the biggest shipping company in China. So there's that. McCarthy is trying to do his best to not give a clear answer on impeachment. I didn't say that we are doing it. I'm just saying that there's a lot there. Yes, which is why you should do it, so then you can fully investigate it.
I'm not saying that we're raising this to an inquiry. What I'm saying is that in order to actually investigate it, we'd have to raise it to an inquiry because the Biden administration is stonewalling us.
Yeah. Mitch McConnell declined to comment on McCarthy's impeachment push. He declined to comment or they caught him at a bad time? Senator John Cornyn from Tejas. I know people are angry. I am angry at the Biden administration for their policies at the border and a whole host of other things. But I think we also need to look at what's achievable.
The policies at the border. He leads with the policies at the border, not the
corruption.
Blatant corruption?
Yeah. And with a Democratic majority in the Senate, I don't think that's achievable, he warned.
I mean, he's probably not wrong there.
Right. However, if the party wants to have power, the party has to show that it's willing to use the power correctly. Well, if we do this now, then we wouldn't be able to I don't care. You get him in the chair and you ask him questions and you make him testify under oath in public, so then the public knows with a clear mind, clear information going into the election, do I actually want this a-hole to be president again? Don't try to push it and kick the can till later down the road like the FBI did and the news outlets did with Hunter Biden's laptop. Senate Republicans remember the last time a Republican-controlled House impeached a Democrat president in the fall of 1998. It backfired on their party in that year's midterm election. No, it's because you guys were stupid weak on your policies going against Bill Clinton.
It's because nobody saw a point in impeaching a man for getting a blowjob. I mean, have you seen what he's married to?
Well, can you blame him?
Can you blame him?
Yeah.
And the thing they got him on was that he lied about it in court.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. They allowed the Democrats to control the narrative to that never happened, that never happened, that never happened. Okay, it happened, but it doesn't matter. To why are we even focused on this? It's no big deal.
Right.
They allowed that to be the narrative to the point where the Republicans had no idea how to tell people we're impeaching him because he lied to Congress.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. Look, they're impeaching him because of his personal life, is what everybody heard.
Yeah. But no, they impeached him because he lied to Congress, which is a felony.
Which is impeachable offense.
Which is an impeachment. Yep, exactly.
It's okay, though. Senator Romney weighed in.
Oh, of course he did, because he's useless.
Yeah, he voted twice to convict Trump on impeachment charges. He must have seen the P-tape that nobody else saw, I guess, for the Russian thing. He said, there are all sorts of accusations and allegations. I had something of that nature launched against me when I was running for president. I found the best way to respond was full disclosure and transparency. My guess is that's the way to make it go away. I'll expect to see that from the Biden team. Do ya?
Well, yeah, he does because, he's also involved in Burisma.
I'm 100%.
Which is, probably one of the things that should have come out in 2012, but whatever.
Romney reminded his House colleagues that the bar for impeachment is high crimes and misdemeanors. That hasn't been alleged at this stage, but we'll see what develops. I certainly hope that that's not going to confront us again.
Okay, how is selling information to a foreign enemy not a high crime or misdemeanor?
No, he didn't sell information. He sold the access to the vice president's office.
Same difference. Semantics.
Yeah, so they're saying with all that, Hunter Biden sold an illusion of access to Joe Biden. Joe Biden had no idea that's what Hunter was doing. Hunter was just kind of using Joe Biden so he could leverage himself into the companies and stuff like that. And so Hunter Biden was blatantly breaking the law.
Blatantly breaking the law.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. Well, we don't have control of the Senate, so we'll have to just not. It's a little risky if we do this now. And you're going to lose if you don't do it. I guarantee if Republicans don't follow through with any of this, they'll lose.
Everything.
Well, it's pointless to do. I'm sorry.
You literally just read a list of representatives that need to go away.
Yeah, of senators and representatives.
Everybody mentioned in this article is the problem.
Once a precedent is, this is from Cornyn. Once a precedent is established around here, you can pretty well guarantee people will cite that as justification or lower the bar further. I don't think it's a healthy thing. You know what, Cornyn? The bar is actually extremely high compared to where it used to be, because a Supreme Court justice was impeached because he was found drunk in public.
Yeah. Yeah, and how many senators have actual DUIs currently?
Good chunk of them.
Almost all of them. Mm-hmm. Almost all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, basically we have a handful of people in the House that actually care to some degree. And then you have
a scant handful.
You can count them on the Freedom Caucus's hands. That's about the extent of it.
Heck, you could count them on a tenth of the Freedom Caucus's hands if you really wanted to
get real technical with it.
Get real technical about it.
Yeah. We just can't lose that. Can't lose that.
Well, that was a kick in the nuts. What's next?
A little bit more on the Biden thing.
Oh, yay.
So let's say, for example, just hypothetically, let's say you were CEO, owner of major business corporation, and you were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to your executives to help you run said business. And your business is on the verge of going bankrupt and in the middle of an investigation into fraud and stuff like that. And you decide to call an emergency meeting, not at your company or the location of it, but in a location in an entirely different country than your company operates in. Dubai, for example. at a very posh hotel. And your executives that you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to, one of them, in the middle of this emergency meeting, comes forward and says, hey, I'm going to call my dad real quick and ask him how the weather is in Washington. I'll put it on speaker for everyone. Does that executive still work for you?
No. Definitely not. Unless asking them how the weather is code for, something else.
Something else. Okay, so let's continue on then. Let's say it is code for something else. And this executive just happens to be the son of a very powerful politician in a country that is way more powerful than the country you operate your business out of. Vice President of the United States, for example.
Just as an example. This is hypothetical.
Yes.
Hypothetically.
Getting the hypes all going here.
Hype it up.
And in the middle of this meeting, you just sit there and listen to your executive that you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for just have a friendly chat with his father about the weather. And he said, hey, Dad, just wanted to call, say hi. I'm here with a bunch of friends at work. Say hi. Hi, Dad. How's the weather in Washington, D.C.? That's great, Dad. That's great.
It's a little rainy here.
Yeah.
We could really use some laundry soon.
And the call ends. And the meeting is adjourned. And then coincidentally, said executive's vice president father shows up at the country where your business operates out of a week after this meeting. And demands the leader of that country fires the prosecutor that's trying to drive your company into the ground. And they say that if they don't do that, then the United States that he represents won't be sending $1 billion loan to that country. And the President of the United States has already signed off on this deal. So you're not going to get any favors from the President of the United States to go over the top of me. And then, wouldn't you know, son of a bitch, he fired him, to use the words of the Vice President, hypothetically, of course. Would you believe that story?
No, of course not.
Oh, because that's the story CNN's trying to tell us. From the testimony that happened yesterday from Devin Archer, an associate of Hunter Biden. And somehow, here's the real kicker here. Somehow,
you ready? Hold on.
Few provisos, a couple of quid pro quos.
Now, somehow...
Thank you, Jeannie.
On top of all this, Devin Archer is business partner with Hunter Biden in some sort of investment firm or something like that. And they have, between the two of them, they have, carry the one, 0 years experience doing investment business stuff. And they started a business. Devin Archer is a former Abercrombie Fitch model. And Hunter Biden is a recovered, quote-unquote, cocaine addict.
I thought you were going to say a recovered Abercrombie Fitch model. I was like, really?
Since when?
Know that about him?
About to start typing in the Googles.
I mean, same thing, right?
Had me in the first half, not gonna lie. So
he's retired, he's recovered, it's all good. That's how they met.
That's how they win. So these two, a retired Abercrombie Fitch model and a
cocaine addict,
start an investment business. And shortly after starting this business, which just happens to coincide with a lot of communication Joe Biden had with China, they get the largest deal out of China that has ever existed, to the point where even the major firms that you would know the names of, Goldman Sachs and all those, haven't even touched a fraction of what they got. And China gave them billions of dollars for their investment firm company that it's just an upstart company. Somehow an underwear model, a male underwear model, and a guy that likes to do cocaine off of female underwear models, or probably even male models, you know, I don't judge. Somehow we're able to sell the Chinese on the best investment deal they could ever have. I wonder what that investment was. It's none of mine, never mind. As the Senate Republicans told us, you know, that it's not something that affects my day-to-day life. Need to look in the future for stuff that actually matters. Not any of this mumbo jumbo. Dang it. Anyway. Let's see if I can pull these up to throw onto the wall to look at. That one. And that one. And that one. Exports in the U.S. look like this. So this goes to 2021. So the first year of Joe Biden's presidency, basically. But if we look, starting around 2012, the overall monetary value is going up in exports. Started to kind of not go up towards the end there. But the percentage-wise, as far as percentage of U.S. GDP, starting in 2012, it's just kind of plateaued and started going down. And then there's this weird little uptick for a couple years here. Wonder what happened with that uptick. Around 2016, 17, 18. Wonder what happened there. I don't know. And 2019, a certain former vice president announced his run for presidency, and COVID happened. And now COVID isn't happening anymore. So yeah, kind of a weird plateau / fall in exports. As a percentage of GDP. And then on the imports side, we see a steady incline, and then this kind of weird thing happens around 2015, 16, 17, where it kind of stops declining for a minute, starts to climb a bit, and then 2019, a certain former vice president announces his bid for presidency, and then COVID happens, and then COVID stops happening. Huh. And again, the overall monetary value goes up, but as far as percentage of GDP, it's we're not we're importing the same or a little bit more than is going. Yeah. And if you want to extradite that even more, you can go and look at, Joe Biden's only trying to sell more of our emergency oil reserves to help lower gas prices at the pump. Meanwhile, what was it you sent this morning? That they're talking about doing the draft?
They're discussing.
Yeah, reinstating the draft.
Some people are pushing reinstating the draft.
Yeah. For what? Why would we need a draft? What needs a draft? Yeah, we kind of went over the border stuff there pretty well. Yeah. So, on border crossings, which Hank Johnson says, there's not terrorists coming across the border, blah, blah, blah. Starting in 2017, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has kept records of the number of individuals on the FBI's terror watch list encountered at the nation's southern and northern borders. Just starting in 2017?
Huh.
Wait. Hold on. And over that time, fiscal year 2023, which runs from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, has already set a record for the most terrorist encounters. Thus far in fiscal year 2023, the government reports that 143 individuals on the terror watch list were encountered trying to cross illegally, with a record number of 140 at the southern border and 3 at the northern border. Dang, Mounties aren't doing their job up there. Yeah. So, it's no big deal. Oh, and, it's just a handful of young Chinese men were, spotted getting off of a border patrol bus in the middle of the country. It's fine. It's 90 some odd young Chinese men in the middle of the country.
That's great. I found an article to throw your way for the military draft thing.
Yeah.
So what happened was Biden called up the military reserves for Ukraine.
Yes.
And then 3 days ago, military.com, the military news website, posted an article, "We need a limited military draft."
Why? Yeah, and in today's military and climate, you can't pull a clinger to get yourself out of it. In fact, they probably might promote you and put you in charge of a group on the front lines if you try to do a clinger to get out of it. If you don't understand the MASH reference, then, well, you're uncultured. So there. Speaking of China, the secret medical lab in California a warehouse was uncovered that had illegal laboratory filled with infectious agents, medical waste, and hundreds of mice bioengineered, quote, to catch and carry the COVID-19 virus, end quote, according to Fresno County authorities. Health and Licensing said Monday that Prestige Biotech, a Chinese medical company registered in Nevada, was operating the unlicensed facility in Reedley, California, a small city about 24 miles southeast of Fresno. The company, according to Reedley city manager Nicole Zlebla, had a goal of being a diagnostics lab. They never had a business license. Good. The city was completely unaware that they were in this building operating under the cover of night. Oh, so they're on the up and up. So they presumed the building was vacant and had no active business. Further inspection in March. See, we're in July or August now. Further inspection in March revealed that the facility housed various chemicals, suspected biological materials, bodily fluids, and hundreds of lab mice, among other lab supplies, according to court documents. The CDC detected at least 20 infectious agents in the lab.
20. That's it. Just 20.
At least 20.
Just the 20.
Just
at least the 20.
Just at least 20.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Ultimately, what we did find was some viruses such as HIV, COVID, chlamydia, rubella, malaria, things of that nature.
Excuse me?
It's HIV, COVID.
What the hell is even that?
Rubella, malaria, things of that nature. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know why. Why would you be concerned about that? There's more important things to look forward to in the future than there is to worry about here and now, says some Republican senator that needs to not be a senator anymore.
Cornyn? Pretty sure that was Corning.
Could have been Romney.
Corny? We're just going to call him Corny.
No, it's Cornyn. Corny.
Corny. Yeah.
Corny. Yeah.
Going to call him Corny.
Yeah.
Like Cornelius, but less liked.
But less liked. Yeah. I would encourage everyone to find and read George Washington's farewell address, especially senators that are noted in that ad.
Yeah.
Because in it, he warns against political parties, because people would put party over country. We won't be able to. Oh, and Mitch McConnell, by the way, said he's not going to resign from the Senate. He's gonna stick it through for another 4 years.
If he gets elected for another 4 years?
No. He's been there for 2. Senate is 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to hold out for. He's going to finish his term. And it certainly has nothing.
I don't think he's going to last that long.
Certainly has nothing to do with the governor of Kentucky being a Democrat and would then appoint a Democrat senator to replace McConnell if he stepped down. It has nothing to do with that. No. It has everything to do with he just cares so deeply about his power and the party's power than he does about his own health and the health of the country. I mean, he cares so much about the country to stay and do his job. Yeah, that's Mitch McConnell. Good old stalwart Mitch McConnell.
That's funny. Did you know that his farewell address was ghostwritten?
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It was written. The original draft was written by James Madison after his first term, and then Alexander Hamilton conducted an extensive rewrite right before he actually retired, and Washington did the final edits before publishing it.
That actually kind of makes sense because his eyesight was actually pretty terrible at that point. Because if I remember right, he made mention of it as he stood up to give the thing. Is please excuse me as my service to my country has degraded my eyesight, and he's putting on his glasses and something to that effect.
He chose to retire before he died because he was afraid that if he died while in office, Americans would view the presidency as a lifetime appointment.
Yes. He said the alternate domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, natural to party dissension, which in different ages and countries has perpetuated the most horrid enormities, is itself a frightful despotism. But this leads at length to a more formal and permanent despotism. The disorders and miseries which result gradually incline the minds of men to seek security and repose in the absolute power of an individual, and sooner or later the chief of some prevailing faction, more able or more fortunate than his competitors, turns this disposition to the purposes of his own elevation on the ruins of public liberty. There you go. That's some of what he said about parties. So I was in my scriptural readings / listenings while I drive in the car to work. I'm just finished in the Libra de Mormon, the Book of Mormon. Even if you're not LDS, just reading the chapters of Alma, is it 46 to 60, something like that?
The war chapters.
The war chapters, amazing. Because in it,
they are pretty good.
In it, you get hopeful that someday a Captain Moroni will show up and lay waste to anyone that dare oppose liberty. Because that's what he did. He to the point where when he was not receiving reinforcements for his armies as they fought against their enemies, he sent a letter to the leader of his country, basically his boss, saying that I hope that something's happened there at the Capitol, which would be why we're not hearing from you or getting supplies from you. Because if not, I'm going to get every man, woman, and child I can to come down there and kill you for not supporting liberty.
Yes.
And in the leaders, in the chief judge Pahoran, in his defense, he sent a letter back to Moroni saying, "Oh, good, I'm glad you feel that way." Yes, something has happened, and I need help.
I'm so glad there's someone else faithful in the world.
Because, yeah, they made it law in the land that if you're not going to support liberty, you'll be put to death. So...
Fair.
Are you saying we should do that? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying communists are best observed as they jump out of a helicopter. No, it's
close enough.
It's best place for communism to exist.
Communists are like pirates.
Okay. In such that.
That's it. That's all. Communists are like pirates.
Done. Yeah. That's issues that are plaguing my mind. And Donald Trump's going to be our savior. Is he, though?
All right, fine, I'll finish it. Communists are like pirates. They should all get what they deserve. Short drop and a sudden stop.
I like it. Yeah. So is Donald Trump really looking out for us? Or Or is he just looking out for himself? Or is he doing some weird thing to actually promote DeSantis? According to Mike's silver lining theory.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I guess we'll never know.
And whoever it is that comes out of that thing has to deal with whatever the heck is going on with our leaders that are clearly not leading. They're just placeholders. Just say I. Just say I. I. Just say I. And they can talk strong foreign policy all they want. It means nothing if your own house is in disarray. The enemy is not at the gate. The enemy is in the frickin' house, and it needs to be cleared out.
Yes.
Because why should the world follow the U.S. if the U.S. has zero example to give the world? You should be like us and be a democracy. Why? Because your streets, you have ice cream locked behind glass because people are stealing ice cream and you're letting them get away with it. You go into your Walgreens and everything is behind lock and key, so you can't just peruse Walgreens because everyone's stealing crap and not being prosecuted for it. You're preaching that it's a good thing and healthy for children to mutilate their bodies before they reach any type of age of understanding. And then you turn a blind eye to the over 42% suicide rate of said children. And you want us to follow you. Why? You say you're the best country for law and order, and yet your border has never been more open, and you can't even control known terrorists from getting into your country. And you want us to follow you. Why? That's why you need a strong domestic policy. It was kind of interesting. It was with the wife over the weekend. And we were in Salt Lake. And we both decided if we never have to go to Salt Lake again, it would be too soon. But while we were driving around, my wife said something to the effect of, if she was just dropped here from some other time to now, she would have no idea what year it is. Because, at least fashion-wise, it's all over the place. There's nothing, it's a bunch of stuff from before or a bunch of nothing. Sometimes literally nothing. And I pointed out, it's because there's no culture for 2020s. So you can look at the 80s, say, if someone is dressed, if you say that guy was dressed like he's from the 80s, you know, instantly have an image of what that looks like. If you say someone was dressed from the 2000s, you got an image of what that looks like. You say someone was dressed like the 2020s, I got nothing. The only fashion thing you got is tattoos, piercings, and dyed hair. And probably some implants.
Probably.
Yeah. So there's no culture being developed right now, which is part of domestic policy, because if you have no culture to rally behind, you have nothing to defend with the domestic policy, which you can then export to the rest of the world, saying, hey, look, our people are well-dressed, they're working. it still boggles my mind that there's still worker shortages everywhere.
Yeah, and yet somehow it's hard to find a job.
And I don't see homeless people all over the place. Unless I'm in Salt Lake City, then I see a lot of homeless people, but still. It's just boggles my mind. But yeah, if you have a solid culture within your country and you have a strong policy to protect said culture, you can then export that culture to the point where Japan is doing everything it can to buy old Levi jeans for thousands of dollars because those blue jeans are just so cool from the Americans. They really had something figured out with those blue jeans. Or manufacturing is really great because, look, the Americans are producing so much GDP with so little. We should copy that. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Buckle up, Buttercup. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Well then.
Any final words of wisdom?
Don't put Twinkies on your pizza.
Oh, please no. Gross.
You're welcome.
That's probably the only thing worse than pineapple on your pizza. I like pineapple and ham on pizza. Why are you gay? Yeah, that's all.
Well, good.
Well, good. Because I'm done.
Yes.
Don't forget to do all the subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, whatever things. And if you take issue with all the stuff that we said, let us know so we can mock you relentlessly.
As we should.
As we should. And if that's upsetting to you, okay. Yeah. It's hard to be apologetic anymore for things. Because look where it got us. Anyway. Bye!
Oh, I pushed the button.
The button has been
touched the spot.
You touched the spot.
I touched the spot.
You touched the butt.
He touched the butt. Ooh, he's got the clap.
Good clap.
He's got the clap and he's giving it to you.
In Remnant 2, one of the mods you can get for your weapons is space crabs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Space crabs.
Yes.
like crabs or like crabs?
Like these weird alien insect-looking things that burst out of a ball that you shoot and go and attack the stuff nearby you. Space crabs.
Space crabs. Everybody loves space crabs.
Completely unrelated to the clap. Just popped into my mind for some reason. Do-do-do-ba-da-ba-do-ba-do. For laters. Okay.
Okay.
I like some of the still shots that they get for news headlines for people because Of all the hundreds of pictures they've taken, they almost always pick the worst. Well, it depends on if it's a in favor of or against article.
I mean, is there any article that's actually in favor of the turtle?
Well, I was actually looking at one for Rudy Giuliani, but correct.
Is he not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
He's a little slow.
It's a little slow. Mentally, physically?
Yes.
Ah, you just gestured to all of him. Well.
Sorry, Mitch, you're a little too slow for the Turtle Club.
That's because he stopped doing all the cocaine.
Well, Hunter stole it all.
Hunter stole it all.
Took his secret stash from the White House. Don't be surprised to see him go full bore into the Bidens now that he's lost his secret stash.
Do it.
I see this as an absolute win.
All right. Well, shall we?
Yes.
Let's.